Hello indie game fans, here's a set of interesting recent games, some of which I've checked out and wanted to share, so let's begin with the 1.0 release of King of Crabs, a battle royale title in which weapon-wielding crustaceans battle for supremacy. It's wacky and wild, with all sorts of weapons and giant enemy crabs, so for free, why not check it out? This title was delayed for a week, so I didn't want to double cover it, but if you love good action games, Savant Ascent Remakes is of interest, one that comes to us from D-Pad Studio, makers of Our Boy, so of course the pixel art is top notch. This started off as a remake of a 10-year-old game, but in the process, they realized that they were adding more and more to it, so much so that it became more of a sequel, but is still at a relatively affordable price, in which you're fighting your way through a tower of robots to reclaim it, with enemies such as laser sharks and the immortal samurai standing in your way, and is worth a look. I've been banging on and on about the latest entry in the Lock-On series of gaming journals in Volume 6, which features gorgeous art, insightful interviews and extensive essays on video games, but if you were not previously aware of UK publisher Lost in Cult, I would recommend the Story So Far 1-6 bundle, which gets you all 6 of their books in softcover at a bundle price, where it's awesome to have video game stuff around the house that are not CDs, cartridges or figurines, so get it via my affiliate link in the description below.
In a vast alien ocean.
The developer of South Scrimshaw Part 1 reached out and I thought it was interesting, being a free visual novel with gorgeous art in the style of a nature documentary, so check it out.
Scrimshaw Part 1.
Speaking of nature documentaries, I loved those growing up and used to watch them all the time, which led to my love of animals and the natural world, resulting in me being interested in Zoo Tycoon, with the modern incarnation of that being the very impressive Planet Zoo, who just released the Oceania Pack paid DLC. This adds animals from the Pacific Islands in the kiwi, Tasmanian devil, little penguin, quokka and spectacled flying fox, with a new campaign scenario, as well as plenty of decor and scenery pieces, where this game, I suspect, is like The Sims 4 in terms of longevity and money-making power, which leads me to think that Frontier will continue to support this game. Here's a smaller game that you might have missed in Astronimo, coming to us from CodeSync, who has a very diverse catalogue, from the bird platformer Shu to the puzzle platformer Chip to Kingdom 2 Crowns and now this game, being a construction-focused puzzle game in which you and your friends are building contraptions in order to explore the vast solar system. Construction and vehicle building games are going through a rough patch lately, and this does not appear to be the exception, sitting at less than 10 reviews 1 month after launch, which is not good news at all, so it being in early access is a concern, since we've seen developers pull the plug if the game is not feasible, but it's cute and looks interesting, so maybe check it out. Okay, I have some bigger games that I want to talk about, the first of which is PAYDAY 3, a co-op heist first-person shooter in which you play as criminals, where the context is that I played a bunch of PAYDAY 2 back in the day and was excited to see a sequel, but unfortunately was a little let down with this. It has been updated visually and looks good, and, launch server issues aside, I'm baffled at the progression system, which is tied to achievements, for example, kill X number of enemies with Y weapon. The previous game gave you XP for killing enemies, with more XP on higher difficulties, so tying it to the raw number of enemies killed is a step back, since there's little to no incentive to play on higher difficulties, so outside of a major revamp of this system, I'm guessing people will stick with the previous game, as evidenced by the 34,000 versus 3,000 concurrent players on Steam as of recording. Another bigger title that is worth a mention is Lords of the Fallen, a game that is actually pretty good and is worth a play if you love the genre.
And our lands burn with the fire of Rogar. Those that dare to hope.
Seek the light.
Dare to believe. Dare to defy.
Another sinner.
Rise up and ignite the darkness.
Again, context is that I'm not a huge Souls-like player, but I do appreciate them, and what a year it has been for this genre, and while the elephant in the room that all Souls-likes will be compared to is Elden Ring, this is better than the 2014 version of this game, and is worth a play.
Now you've written the darkness, brother. You are in the presence of a god-human.
Immortal or not,
Beg for forgiveness.
the gods will feel our blades.
I was not expecting this release since Fights in Tight Spaces, Weapon of Choice is a paid DLC to a stylish roguelite tactical deck builder title, which was pretty awesome as you used a bunch of martial arts moves to dispatch of your enemies, with this update, interestingly, adding a new Gun Fu inspired deck. That of course incorporates weapons into the mix, with a new challenge in the form of a faction of international assassins, making it even better and has sold well for a DLC. I wanted to give a special mention to this survival game since I covered it back in early access and even at its 1.0 launch, where Ascent is a single-player, first-person survival game that is great and relatively overlooked, so give it a try if you love the genre. It is set in an arcane desert with mystic elements of monsters and somehow guns as well, being a self-contained and well-crafted experience. It's strange how things come full circle, since if you were a 90s kid, I'm sure the opening notes of this trailer would be familiar, coming to us from the ultra-violent cartoon Happy Tree Friends, who somehow teamed up with the Crackpad show to release an official DLC, where the base action roguelite was basically bootleg Happy Tree Friends anyway, so it's interesting for sure, with my picks of the best roguelites of each year in this video.